The number one reason why most businesses are unable to grow is simply because they do not have a steady stream of prospects that are ready to buy their services. That's why in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly step by step how you can build a cold email system that sends 1,000 targeted cold emails per day to your target audience without landing in the spam folder, so you can get a steady stream of buyers begging to work with you and not have to worry about where your next meeting comes from. So without further ado, let's dive straight in. All right, so how to send 1,000 cold emails per day without landing in the spam folder. That's the important part, because if you land in the spam folder, people aren't going to see your emails and you're not going to have a good time. So the first question you might be asking is, Matt, how do I know this works? And to answer that question, I've done this myself. So I'm currently sending thousands and thousands and thousands of cold emails per day over at my agency Anivo Marketing for our clients, and have gotten results like these: 62 meetings within the first 60 days, 10 meetings and a closed deal within 10 days, all kinds of stuff here. And we've booked over 100 sales qualified meetings for our clients just in the last month using cold email. These are people interested in wanting to buy their services. So you guys know that if you use this stuff and you actually apply it correctly, then you can get interested people wanting to buy your services and ultimately grow your business. So first thing I want to cover, sending more emails equals more leads. The number one problem that I see in most businesses today is that people don't know your business exists. You guys might have great products, you might have great services, but if you're not reaching out to people or doing any sort of sales activity to get in front of people's eyes, then they're not going to be able to buy your stuff because they don't even know you exist. So one of the ways that you can let them know that you exist is by sending them cold emails, and a lot of them. So this is the craziest chart you've ever seen in your entire life. The more cold emails you send, the more meetings you will book. I know, crazy concept, but the principle is true. The more eyeballs you get in front of, the higher chance you're going to get someone who's going to be interested in your service. So if you keep doing that sales activity, you keep sending cold emails, you're going to get people that are interested in your service just by virtue of getting in front of enough people. So we're going to cover first how to build the infrastructure, how to make sure you're not landing in the spam folder, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the different tools and how to make sure that you can implement this process inside your business. So first, talking about the sending infrastructure and the deliverability, how to build a cold email system itself. So before diving into the actual servers and softwares and whatnot, one of the principles that I want to relay over to you guys about building cold email infrastructure and overall making sure that you don't go to spam is to make sure everything you're doing is as human as possible. So make sure your sending pattern is as human as possible, and you just want to make sure your activity looks human. Even though we're going to be employing automation, the goal is to look human so that we don't land in the spam folder. So diving into the actual tools and the different ways to set up email servers. So you might have heard of different ways to send emails. You know, there's buying Amazon servers. You can use tools like SendGrid, ConvertKit, or MailChimp, which are typically used for newsletters, buying a VPS, or using individual email accounts. So the problem with most of these options, typically whenever you set up your own email server, the main problem is that you're left managing your own IP from the server, and this can be an issue. So if you're left to manage your own IP reputation, what ends up happening is that with time, you might end up on a blacklist. And if you end up on a blacklist, then that means everything associated with that server is going to go to spam, or might not even reach spam at all. It might just get bounced. And this is going to have to make it so that you're going to set up everything from scratch, and everything associated will go to spam. It's not a good time, and that's why I typically do not recommend setting up your own email server like a VPS or something to that extent. However, you can use the strategy of horizontal scaling, which we're going to cover, by using providers like Google or Microsoft. They have, Google Workspace or Outlook 365. They allow you to buy email accounts individually from them, and then Google or Microsoft will manage your IP reputation for you. So if your IP goes bad, they fix it, and then you're also sharing your IP along with other email users with normal email sending activity. So that is what I typically recommend, using a provider like Google or Microsoft and buying email accounts through there to set up your cold email infrastructure. So this will also allow you to make sure that your email sending looks human, because typical people either send emails from Google or Microsoft. That's where most people host their email accounts, and that's where most emails come from, not from an email server that's not associated with one of those two companies. So now that you've selected your email providers, you can either pick using Google or Microsoft. You're going to want to employ a tactic called horizontal scaling. So what this means is that instead of sending 1,000 emails off one account, which most of these guys won't let you do anyways, and if they did, you definitely shouldn't, because all your stuff is going to go to spam, you send less emails per inbox, but you get more inboxes. So here's a little diagram I put together showing this and what this looks like. So you're sending emails, instead of sending 1,000 from one inbox, you might buy multiple domains, and then within those domains you set up multiple email accounts, and within those multiple email accounts you send out less emails per day. So spreading out this infrastructure again allows you to horizontally scale and not go to spam. So the reason why you want to do this is to mimic human activity. Again, we're all trying to mimic human activity because again, it's not human activity. No normal person, no sane person is just going to send 1,000 emails per day from their email account, because if you do that, then you're going to end up going to spam. So we want to load out the emails we send across multiple accounts to spread out the infrastructure and mimic human activity with our automation. So we're not only going to buy multiple email accounts like inboxes, we're going to spread them across different domains to diversify the sending infrastructure and to look more human. So what this could look like, let's say your company is xyzmarketing.com. You could set up email accounts like joe@getxyzmarketing.com, joseph@getxyzmarketing.com. So you can see here, we're not only using different domains, like these are the .coms, but we're also using different users. So we're using Joe, Joseph. So yeah, domains, this is like the xyzmarketing.com, and then the users are like Joe or Joseph. So if you set up multiple of these and you spread out the load, this is what's ultimately going to allow you to send a lot of cold emails out without landing in the spam folder, because you're spreading out email sending. So you can typically send anywhere between 25, 35, sometimes even more, up to 50. I've heard even people send up to 100, which I probably wouldn't recommend, but you can send 25, 35, or maybe even more per day from each account safely. So I'd recommend getting around 35 email accounts to do this. This is talking about if you want to send 1,000 emails per day. So you'd have to get 35 email accounts, sending about 25 to 35 cold emails per day. Because of multiplication, that'll get you to 1,000 emails per day. The exact number of how many cold emails you can send per day might change with time, so keep that in mind. After you create these accounts, you're going to want to set up MX, DKIM, SPF, and DMARC records. What these allow you to do is to actually set up the email accounts. Some of these are basically what allows you to connect a domain to an email account in the first place, and then DMARC records help validate like that your email sender is coming from a real account and validating that, you know, it's not coming from a spoof sender. So all these DNS records are used to set up the email accounts and will allow you to be able to send and deliver these emails. So after you've set all these accounts up, you buy the accounts, you buy the domains, you set them up, you're going to want to source the leads. So you might be wondering, you know, okay, we can send 1,000 emails per day. Where are we going to find 1,000 people per day to send the emails to? So the first caveat I'm going to want to say here is that if you send 1,000 emails per day, you're not necessarily going to need to have 1,000 net new people. People think, okay, you send 1,000 emails per day, you're going to need 1,000 new people. Not quite. The reason why is because some emails are going to be follow-ups to the same prospect. So the way that I like to structure most of my email campaigns, and what I recommend for you guys too, is to send multiple follow-ups to the same prospect, because some people are busy. They might see your first email and they're not interested right away. But if you keep following up with them, you might catch them at a better time where they're ready to buy your product. On average, let's say if you're sending a 4 email sequence, this means you're going to need to have 250 people per day, because you divide that out, or about 5,000 net new prospects per month. So I have a cold email masterclass. It's in the description. I have an in-depth section on how to source, scrape, and validate leads. But to recap quickly how you can do this, the first step is you're going to find a tool like Apollo or ListKit. There's many data providers on the market to find the exact leads that you want. You're going to filter by their criteria. So headcount, job title, the location, the technologies they might be using. You take all the criteria that you want, you plug them into these data tools, and then from there, you're going to be able to download the leads from these data tools, Apollo, ListKit. There's all kinds on the market. Then you're going to download the leads. You're going to validate these tools with a tool like Million Verifier or Never Bounce. What this essentially does is it takes the emails, sees that they are actually active and exist, because if you email to email accounts that don't exist, then they're going to bounce, which will ruin your email reputation. You don't want to do that. That's going to destroy the system and make your emails go to spam. So again, find the data, download the data that you want, validate the list with a tool, format the list, and then upload it to a sending tool. So I have an in-depth video on my channel where I have a full process on how to build this list. It's also in the cold email masterclass, link in the description. So you can check that out once you're done with this video. The next question you might be asking is, Matt, I built out the infrastructure, I got the leads. How am I going to send out 1,000 emails per day? So you might have the scaffolding ready to be able to send these emails in the first place, but you're going to be wondering how you're going to actually send out the emails. So don't worry, you don't have to manually send these emails out. There's plenty of sending tools on the market that allow you to automatically send these emails out for you, because if you were sending all these emails out manually, this could be a total nightmare. So cold email sending tools, what they allow you to do is send cold emails out at scale while staying within the best practices guidelines to help you land in the inbox. There's a ton of different cold email tools on the market, but the main things you're going to want to make sure that the sending tool you has is, number one, rotating inbox structure. What this means is, like as in this structure here above, above, that the cold email sending tool will automatically cycle between the different inboxes within your system so that you are, not have to manually create new campaigns for each one of the email accounts. And it'll prioritize different email accounts based on the sending limits you have in each account. And then number 2 is spin tax. So we're going to cover that shortly, but essentially what this is allows you to send multiple variations of the same email to make it look more human. So the main tool that I recommend, at least right now, to achieve this is Smart Lead. They are, in my opinion, the best tool on the market right now. I have a video on my channel covering this. You can sign up using the link in the description. You can also watch this video here to have more information on Smart Lead and how to set up that tool. I mentioned spin tax earlier in this section. Why this is important to send thousands of cold emails per day is to make sure that your emails look human even though you aren't manually sending them out. So whoa, what's that spin tax word you mentioned earlier? Essentially, when you're sending high volume of cold emails out per day, you're going to want to utilize a feature that should be in your sending tool called spin tax. So in the efforts to make sure that you look human, as we discussed earlier, making sure that you don't land in the spam folder, you're not going to want to send the exact same email again and again and again from your inboxes because it makes you clearly look like a robot. So if you send the same email out and there's no variation, Google and Microsoft and all these email providers that have these different spam folders are going to recognize pretty quick, like, hey, this probably isn't a legit human because he's sending the same thing over and over and over again. So spin tax, what it is it's a feature that allows you to cycle between different variations of text within your emails to vary the exact wording of the emails that get sent out. And what this does is it allows you to have different unique combinations of emails that get sent out that aren't the exact same, so they look different to the email providers. Also allows you to get the same message across. So to give you an example of what this looks like, within your sending tool, you can send stuff like this where you format it and it says hi, hello, and hey. And what it'll randomly output is either hi, hello, or hey. So it's not going to send all 3 of these. It's going to randomly pick one of these words and input it inside your cold email. So how you can utilize spin tax in your email, it might look like this. You might say, hi, hello, hey, I came across your email account or your Instagram account and I want to reach out. We can help you generate 10,000 followers. There's multiple different variations here, and then it'll output one of these outputs. So you can see here, we put hi, hello, hey, came across, thought, wanted, add, generate, 30. And what this might output in one email is I found your Instagram account, but in another email it might say I saw your Instagram account. And here you say, or you don't pay us, but over here it says guaranteed. And then you can vary up the different call to actions. So basically you want to utilize spin tax to make different variations of your email. So whenever you're sending out the emails, they don't look exactly the same, because if you send out the same email over and over again, Google and Microsoft and them will catch on and put your emails into the spam folder. So slight differences, same idea. Use unique variations to make your emails look human. And this email with spin tax will result in hundreds of unique variations that will allow your email to look practically unique every single time. Because if you use like this spin tax snippet, for example, there's 3 variations here, 3 variations here, 2 here. All these add up, and this is going to have dozens and dozens and dozens, probably even hundreds of unique variations that make your emails look totally unique and make it so you're not sending the exact same email out every time. So note, not all sending tools have the same formatting for spin tax. You might have to look at your sending tool. For example, this is how it looks in Smart Lead, but if you're using a different sending tool, you might have to type out the spin tax in an exact different way. Not all sending tools have the exact same formatting for creating spin tax. So check the help documents for whatever sending tool you're using to confirm they have it as a feature and to make sure you're using their exact formatting. So go and build out the system. If you want to learn more tips and tricks about cold email, you can subscribe and check out my newsletter, moreleadsmoremoney.com. In the description, when you opt in, you're going to get full access to a cold email masterclass they built out, showing you more in depth how to build out a system like this. And if you're currently running an agency, consultancy, or B2B business doing over 30K a month, and you have a cold email system that you want me to manage, or you want me to build one out completely done for you, you can check out our website, anivomarketing.com. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the description and we can cover them in future videos. Otherwise, go send out those cold emails and go book some meetings. Thanks.